This is a breakdown of how I got earnings once again in the solo finals. It started out with me doing a strat where I pull out my glider a little bit early in between a ton of different drop spots. This allows me to scout around and see which drop spot is uncontested. This doesn't work every time. For example, this game, it didn't necessarily work. I got a building to myself, which is good, but I looked over here and there was already a player there, so I couldn't rotate that way. And I look over here and there's already a player over there. But honestly, I have decent loot off spawn, so I plan to just start farming up mats, and that's when I get snuck up on. I don't have a lot of mats, so I have to immediately get aggressive back. I go for a side jump shot and I hit it and crack him. This player was weak, so I immediately charge and I end up getting a free kill. In this side of the map, there's all of those plants that give shield, so I don't pop any of my heals, I just go get the plants instead. I farm up mats while thinking about what to do next. I have keys, so I go check the keys nearby and I find a breacher shotgun. I usually don't like this gun, but I decided to use it this game, which was the best idea, and you'll see why later. At this point, there's 3 things on my mind. 1, I gotta find a way to get metal. 2, I need to get ready to get my cash. The cash always spawns when the 3rd zone opens, and it's always going to spawn within that 3rd zone. And the 3rd thing is, I want to start rotating to the dead side of the zone, which if I go along this right side of the map, all the way to the southeast, I'll be in the perfect spot with a low amount of players. So I decide to go over to Brutal for 2 reasons. 1, I can start farming metal. I just have to be aware because Brutal has a lot of players. And 2, I have the launch pad so I can fly to my cache, which is exactly what I do. But because I wasn't positioned within the 3rd zone, the cache is pretty far away. I still would have gotten to it on time, but I found a different cache along the way. So now I'm fully set up for endgame. I even have Splash Party to get 4 splashes later on in the game when I need it. But from here on out, I just plan to stay on this far east side of the zone. The west side is going to have the most players because everyone from center map probably rotated right around that area. But the next zone pulls pretty far, and there's players around me. So I wait for this guy in front of me to rotate, and then I just follow his path. I give him enough space so he doesn't feel threatened by me and isn't going to try to fight me, but I don't wait too long because I don't want to get held in storm. He went down and to the left here, so instead of following down that way, I go up the mountain so that I go my own path. And I end up just basing right on the edge because there were other people around. And the next zone pulls max again. If I go right, it's going to be the congested side of zone because everyone from center map rotated right around there in Mega City. So even though going left is a longer rotate, I decide to go that way. Maybe I'll even find rifts because the island's over here. At this point in the rotate, I see to the right at Mega City, there's a decent amount of boxes, and if I go that way, I might get lobby focused. So I go more left where there isn't as much congestion and I might be able to get in free. Sure enough, nobody shot at me. I don't even build a lot, I just get in these old builds and wait for zone to open, and it pulled right to me. That's when I make a box, and then I see somebody swimming right by me. I didn't think much of it. I just shot at him like I would anybody, but he was weight HP. So I started spraying at that, but I want the loot. So I get up close and I go and box fight him. This breacher is just so busted for taking walls, especially on low ping. So I was able to just get the kill by keeping the pressure up and pushing from a safe distance. As soon as I get the kill, I make space so that I don't get lobby focused. I use the extra mats to get ahead on this rotate a little bit because why not? But the next rotate is where things start to get a little bit sketchy. I go underneath all these builds because I assume everybody's already gone. I still stay aware though, I'm ready to build at any point in time if someone edits on me. But as I'm rotating here, I start to hear a lot of footsteps around me, which is the scariest thing. So I'm looking around trying to stay aware and trying to keep moving forward. I build ramps behind me whenever I can. I try to stay a little bit elevated so anybody ratting on low ground can't shoot me, but eventually I get hit. And this is where I mess up. I was so close to zone, I was like, I might as well just get in the zone and then pop some big pots. But I rushed it, and there was someone holding an angle on me, and I almost die here. But I just make space in hard mats and get my slurp off. Close call, man. But it's all good. I got healthy once again. And then I see this guy next to me just sitting in a cone, a wood cone at that. So I one-shot that with the breacher. He was unaware and I got the kill. I grabbed the med mist because white heals in this season are so good and you're not really going to get much time to pop big pots. But it's the moving zone time now. When I start this, the lair I'm on seems a little bit congested, like anybody could edit their cone up and pump me. So I go up an extra layer and place a floor behind me so that they can't shoot me from behind. But I don't get greedy. I pause here because there was a lot of people rotating around me. I start fighting for a quick second. The more refreshes you get in endgame, the better. With no movement, it's so crucial. But I almost get snuck on. This kid was sitting right on my wall. Luckily, I blocked the shot. Pausing here also gave me time to analyze my rotate. I made a good decision by going straight to the right, getting all the way to the side of the zone so I don't have danger on every single side of me anymore. This rotate was pretty standard. I was staying on a somewhat elevated layer because I still have decent mats, and low ground usually is pretty sketch, I'm not gonna lie. I like to just ramp up at random moments while rotating to stay elevated. And as soon as I get in here, I use this ramp to like peek behind me, see if anyone's following, and that's when I see high ground was ramping up from backside. So I give that a quick chop out, try to see what's going on, and it didn't look like I could take it yet. But I hear somebody get cracked directly above me, so I try to track where did that person go. I see the general direction, so I just start shooting out the floors, and he dies so fast. I'm the closest player to that loot, so I tarp there and try to get the extra mats. But for some reason, I only got 9 metal. Not even siphon metal. All the rest of the mats fell, and I knew that, but I didn't want to drop down layers because I didn't have info on those bottom layers. Instead, I start thinking about my next rotate. I wait until last second to go because I heard somebody a layer above me, and I wanted him to get ahead of me first. I noticed this guy looking for a pump through his cone, so I immediately block that off as soon as I see it. And I realize I have so many slurps, I'm just gonna pop one before continuing rotating. That way, if I get shot or get in a fight, I'll be already healing, and it'll be so perfect. Sure enough, I got boxed here. Not only boxed, but I got coned. Lucky for me though, I have this crazy heavy shotgun that just instantly gets me out of that bad situation. And this is where I make one of the biggest game-changing plays. I'm all the way on front side and I don't see high ground above me, and it's not pressuring me. So I just immediately crank up. No hesitation. I don't even have that many mats, but I just go up, shoot the back edge of zone, and I start to grief the high ground player. Now this shot right here, I don't know how I chopped him. It was honestly a fluke, but he went soaring to low ground after that. Now I have high ground, but I look at my mats and it's not looking good. But I think, what's the play here? I realized it was time to enter sneak mode. This player was distracted shooting at someone else, and he didn't even notice that I broke his cone, which is why I went for the sneak play, just jumping right in his box. Dude hit me really hard, but it was still the perfect play. And bro had so many mats for me. If I didn't go for that there, he probably would have cranked up on high ground a second later. I also managed to go back, grab his med mist for heal off. There were slurps there stuck in the ceiling, which I didn't see at first, but it's all good, we're set up to win this as long as if it goes to heal off. Even if it doesn't, I just gotta keep the pressure on every single player in this lobby, make them all drop to low ground, and then I should have a free victory. So at this point, I'm just trying to stay aware of all the players that are close to high ground. Whoever's the closest, I continue to shoot them. But I also know that one of the biggest things to stay aware of on high ground is people making a storm play, popping heals and cranking up. That way they can surprise you from the storm. So I'm really just trying to make sure people are staying on lower layers and keeping eyes on the zone. And the one other thing is that just in case anybody else has a heavy shotgun in the lobby, I started double layering my floors and cones. Because if you're on a single layer, they can chop you with just one shot. But by double layering it, I might have a chance of connecting myself. But I managed to get it all the way to heal off. I just wait till last second to pop that slurp, and then I run deep in the storm with my med mist, and I still had those slap splashes from earlier. This game was mine. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. More content on the way. Check out the creative maps down below if you're trying to improve, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.